Oh my goodness. Welcome, everyone. I am here today with Michelle, and we want to talk about overcoming fear. I had a coaching call with Michelle last week, and my heart was bursting for you. You really took a swing out, stepped out of your comfort zone, and I just wanted other people to hear what you've overcome, because I think this is the juice and this is the squeeze of the business. So first of all, I want to share with you one of my favorite quotes. The very first time I spoke on stage, it was my second year in the business, and I heard this quote, and it has been in my office ever since. And the quote is, "You don't have to be fearless. You just have to let fear not stop you." So that is exactly what you've been doing. I'm so proud of you, Michelle. You hit your 10 and 3 in July. You are just a force. Do you want to share with us a little bit about what overcoming fear looks like for you?
Sure. Um, Overcoming fear for me, the biggest thing is I am terrified. I was sharing with Benny, I am terrified to make a phone call. I know that it may sound so silly to some people, but I think a fear is just an irrational feeling to a certain action. And that's kind of what I'm a very I like facts, I guess I would say. So I try to tell myself that. But when it comes to making a phone call, it doesn't matter what the facts are. And I've always, well, not always, but pretty much for the last 20 years, I've been like that. So in this business, I thought, well, it's all social media, it's all online. And, I got into it. I just thought, I'm going to just make enough to buy my products. Well, I fell in love with Turn Out Products and the people and their vision, and I wanted to do more. So I've tried to do it by just sending messages to friends and things like that, and kind of got a little bit shocked actually that I wasn't getting the response that I thought I would. And actually, Benny went live and said about phoning people and the difference it makes. And I said, okay, well, that's what I have to do. Well, that's easier said than done when you're terrified to make a phone call. So last week, I decided I knew somebody that could benefit from the business, who is really in line with Turn Out products. And I thought, I really have to share this with her. And yes, I want to grow my business, but I knew that this would help this person and her family. So I decided I was going to call her. So on Sunday, I decided I have to tell somebody I'm going to do this or I will never do it. So I told my mom that I'm going to call this person tomorrow after work. And then when Monday morning came, I said, why did I tell her that? She's just going to keep asking me if I called them, and I can't. So Monday night, no. So Monday, I was thinking about it all morning. And then I said, I have to send her a message to see if she's available tonight for a call, because if I don't, I won't call her. So I'm trying to find ways to overcome that fear and force myself to do it. So she messaged me back and said she was working that night, but she was available the next night. I got out of it. That's what I was thinking. Even though I really wanted to talk to her, I really wanted to share. So the next day came, and I knew that was the night. So I thought, I could send her my number and then she could phone me, but I knew business wise that wasn't the right thing to do because she might not call. So I said, how about such and such a time? I messaged her and she said, great. The time came. So it was like 10 minutes before the call, and I was just pure anxiety. I could hardly breathe, and I just kept telling myself, you can do this. It's not like somebody I don't know, and like, just do it. so it was like 10 minutes of fighting with myself and struggling. And finally, I made the call. And as soon as she picked up the phone, I was pretty much okay because I did that. I made the call and started to talk to her. And I felt, a little bit silly, really, because I was so scared to make this phone call. So I talked to her about the Turnout product. I told her all about the new product that's coming. Well, not all about it because I don't know what it is, but how excited I am. And I did, honestly, that was the first time I talked to somebody other than immediate family. I'll be honest, other than messaging people, that was the first time I talked to somebody about the new product. And I felt a little bit silly. I said to her, I feel silly, like I'm talking to you about something I don't even know what it is. But I really feel that, you should give this a try. I think it's worth the chance. And she said to me something I never even thought about. She said, if you're calling me and telling me, sharing this information, then you must feel awfully good about this company and their products, that you feel this sure about whatever's coming. And I said, that's true. I hadn't really thought of it that way, but it's true. She said, and I had shared some of my family members' experiences with the product, some of my own with her. And she signed up as an associate right then and there. So I just have to tell myself, you know what's best, you know you can do it, what's the worst that can happen, and do it. And get great results.
And what did she sign up with?
She signed up with the Platinum Pack.
Amazing. Okay, I'm going to break this down a little bit. So here's the timeline. One thing that I heard that I love, you had an accountability buddy. You shared with someone that you were going to make the call. Number 2, you sent her a message. What did you tell her in terms of booking the phone call with her?
I said, would you have a few minutes? There's something I'd like to run by you that I think you'd really be interested in.
Love it.
That's all I said. Because that was the truth.
That was step number 2. You guys, that was short and simple. There's something I'd love to run by you that I think you'd be interested in.
Yeah. I won't keep you more than 10. I said to her, I won't keep you more than 10 minutes.
I won't keep you more than 10 minutes. Number 3, you booked a time with her. How does this time and date sound? Then step number 4, you picked up the phone, you made the phone call, and a few of the things I heard, you shared your family's experiences, which you have some profound testimonies and product stories, which I think is very important. You shared your passion and you were vulnerable with her, but you really just shared. You kept it short and sweet to 10 minutes.
Yep.
And she signed up on a Platinum.
Yep. Within 8 minutes, we were done.
Within 8 minutes, you were done. And you came from a place of making a difference and being of service.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you want to hear the good news? Success leaves clues. So once you have figured out a formula that works for you, is doing more of the same thing. So if you're on this call, a few things that I want to just suggest to people is pick a buddy, and you guys can have like a chicken list of 5 people. Imagine 5 10-minute conversations a week. That's less than an hour. That's less than 1 hour a week. I would bet your batting average for 5 people for 10-minute phone calls is going to be way higher than 20 messages, 10 messages, right? Picking up that phone. And I love you kept it so simple. And then here's the thing as well. Fear can be different for everyone. Fear might be going live. Fear could be talking to people. Fear could be all different things. And I've also heard this, the fear of a tiger being in the room versus thinking a tiger in the room is the same fear. And
Yep.
the thing that I know is the more you do it and the more you practice, the easier it gets. So, people see me go live. I bet you wouldn't know that it took me 8 tries to go live the first time. 8. And I was terrified. I mumbled. I didn't know what I was doing. And now, Trent will attest that I often wait a little bit to press the go live button. But here is the gold nugget, you guys. Of all the people who you have connected with, maybe they've liked a post, maybe you've, met them. There's so many people that I meet that I go, oh my goodness, you could benefit from these products, is make the list and reach out to them. And here's the thing, if you were at a family barbecue or work or something, and somebody shared with you, oh my goodness, like, my knee's just really hurting, blah, blah, blah. And you think, oh, optimize, maybe just say, hey, Michelle, I think there's something I'd love to run by you. I think it might really help what you're dealing with. Would you have 5 minutes tonight? I could give you a quick call. Listen, if someone ever said that to me, I'd be like, yes, or no, I'm not home tonight. We have a barbecue, but maybe tomorrow, right? Because not every, I'm just thinking summer, if you're at a big barbecue or camping, there's lots of people that I meet that I think, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, we could help you, but maybe it's not the right time, or you're at work, or they comment on social media versus sending information, picking up the phone. So here's my number one tip. When people always say, what do I say when they say, can you send me more information about X? My response is always, do you have a quick 10 minutes, or are you around tonight? I'll give you a quick call. A few things, make it short, make it sweet. Because if you say, hey, Michelle, do you have 2 hours tonight? And I'll give you all the information you want on Glow, versus share the information, then you can follow up with the particulars. So you can send some before and afters, you can send them the ingredients list. Because I'm the kind of person, it wasn't until someone shared with me about their product story that I was interested. I'd actually been sent the ingredient lists and the information before, and it didn't interest me. So that 10-minute conversation is so important. I am so proud of you. And I'm going to say that quote one more time. You do not have to be fearless. You just have to let fear not stop you. So fear is one of those things that can be there and you can take action anyway. So my son learned how to ride a bike. He was terrified, but he kept getting back on that bike. He's now fallen off. His legs are bruised and scraped. So you might have someone says, you know what, actually, I'm really busy. Then you could follow up with them again in a couple of weeks. So I think the fear of what people think and all different things can sometimes stop us. So I'm so proud of you. So my call to action for anyone on this call is to harness Michelle's courage, and find, if you want a buddy, reach out to someone on your team and say, hey, do you want to take on courage calls with me? And it's just practice. And here's the thing, if you're that terrified, one of my favorite things to do, mock the conversation. So I will tell you something, Shar. Shar and I were business buddies for a very long time. We were both almost earning a trip to the Dominican Republic. It was on sponsoring and customer points, and she needed customer points. I needed sponsoring points. So we swapped secrets, and she told me what she said to people. And I said, I can't say that, Shar. She's like, yeah, you can. So I said, would you practice with me? And so we practiced. I said, okay, you're the host. I'm gonna practice my call with her. I practiced with her once, and then I just practiced on the next person I called. So if you're someone who wants to practice in the car, practice to your kids, practice to your spouse, practice with your team member, or you can call me up and practice anytime. And I always tell people, like,
good idea.
If you don't know what you can say, you can be really authentic and be like, oh my gosh, I was actually really nervous to call you. You might not know this about me, but I don't actually love the phone call. But I just really wanted to call because I have something that I think would make a real difference for you.
Well, I didn't share this with you, but since we had our coaching call, I did call somebody else because I had reached out to her by Messenger and I didn't get any real response back. And I just thought, I don't think she understands. She can't understand what I'm trying to get through, like what opportunity this is. She can't understand what it was about, what the product has done for me and my psoriasis. And it was somebody that I knew it could help. I don't think she gets it. Anyway, so I said, well, I'm going to have to phone her. And yes, it might have taken me nearly 3 days to actually make the phone call, but now that you say that, I didn't really think about it in terms of steps, but I did do the exact same thing. I told my husband this time that, I was going to do it, and I knew he would be at me. And anyway, and it's so silly. And then whatever your fear is, it's not necessarily making a phone call, but whatever it is, everybody has fears, or I think they do. But I called her, and she's looking over some information, and we're going to actually have another call tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow night. So we'll see.
And, Veronica talks about running the bases with people. So sometimes you're going to have one conversation with people and that's your first base. And they're like, that's great. Send me some more information. There might be people like me that are like, great, here's my credit card. Let's give it a go. And so there's going to be people at different stages for different things. And then the key to that would be the follow-up. Right. So I've been talking to someone all summer long. She's been on camping trips. She's whatever. We made that call because I just kept rescheduling. She's like, oh, I can't. My friend's coming from the ferry. Okay, we'll reschedule for next Friday. Oh, shoot. I'm out with my son. Next schedule, reschedule. And then finally got her on the phone. She was pumped. And then, oh, I'm busy. I'm off camping again. And so I just keep following up. I'm like, hey, I'm actually back from camping. Is there a good time this week? And here is my tip for you, since we're honing in on our skills. I call it the toddler approach, because when I started this business, my son was a toddler. And I always give people two choices. So when I'm scheduling a call, I usually say, hey, Michelle, which day would work best for you? Tuesday or Thursday? Great. Once you pick Thursday, okay, what time works best for you? 2 or 4? And if neither of those work for people, they'll say, oh, shoot, I actually work like you did. I actually worked.
Yeah.
I said I could do this time or this time. And you said I'm done work at 3:30. So I said, great. How about 3:30 or 4? Two options. So if you say, great, my schedule is wide open, it's too much. So with the toddler, this is why I call it a toddler approach.
Yeah.
A toddler said, I'm hungry. And I said, okay, would you like an apple or an orange? You don't say, would you like
what do you want?
If I do that to my son, he's like, well, I don't know. So I call it the toddler approach, whether you're connecting with a first-time associate for a welcome call, whether you're booking a call with a teammate, whether you're booking that call with someone. I always just say, oh, that's fantastic. Let's touch base for 10 minutes. What works best for you? And I always do it a pretty short timeline. So I wouldn't do it to you and say, what works best for you next month or 2 months from now? It's like, what works best for you today or tomorrow?
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Well, thank you for
great.
the tips. I'm not going to keep you much longer, but if you're watching this, throw her some love. Michelle, I am so proud of you, and I cannot wait for what's to come. And the other thing, just to also hone in on those skills, if you're watching, if you can't answer a question or the person requires information that's out of your expertise or your knowledge, the best thing you can do is say, you know what? Why don't I loop you in with Benny or Shar or Jen and get you some more information on that? So if it's like, for example, say the person that you're talking to, maybe she's a personal trainer and she's asking you questions that you don't know the answers to. We have a whole team that you can jump on a 3-way call with. And imagine if everybody on our team uses each other for those 3-way calls. So you might have someone who's a teacher, Nicole Legros. You might have someone who's a single mom. You might have someone who's in BC. So you can always loop people in. And that's one of my favorite things to do is let's jump on a quick call. Does that work tomorrow? So from that touch point, it can go in a variety of different ways. Okay, well, I'm so
That's a-
proud of you.
a great
Keep
idea.
going and keep going on that courage call list. I love it. Okay, bye
Thank
guys.
you. Thanks.